There's a brown bottle sitting somewhere in your home right now, pushed to the back of a drawer, forgotten behind expired cough syrup and a thermometer you never use. You paid under $1 for it. You have barely thought about it since. That bottle is quietly capable of replacing 15 different products you are purchasing every single month. And the people who discovered this were not chemists in a laboratory. They were Amish families in Pennsylvania and Ohio, living without the cleaning aisle for generations, solving every household problem with one compound that the modern industry has spent decades training you to overlook. If you have ever felt like consumer culture keeps selling you solutions to problems it created, stay right here. What you're about to learn is not a trend. It is a return to something older and far more powerful than anything on aisle 9. If you are new here, this is Next Reveal, a channel built on one mission, pulling forgotten knowledge back into the light. Chemistry the industry buried, engineering the mainstream ignored, practical wisdom from communities that never needed a shopping cart to survive. Subscribe now so you do not miss what is coming. The story begins not in an Amish kitchen, but in a Paris laboratory in 1818. A French chemist named Louis-Jacques Thénard isolated a compound he called eau oxygénée, oxygenated water. The world came to know it as hydrogen peroxide, H₂O₂. Two hydrogen atoms, two oxygen atoms, held together by an unstable oxygen-oxygen bond that is constantly seeking something to react with. That instability is not a flaw, it is the entire mechanism. By the early 1900s, hospitals across England and America were using it as a wound disinfectant. In 1920, The Lancet documented physicians deploying peroxide protocols during the influenza pandemic to address secondary bacterial infections in patients, cheap, accessible, and effective. Then, the pharmaceutical industry arrived with patents and profit margins, and the brown bottle was quietly reassigned, not because it failed, because it could not be owned. You cannot patent water, you cannot mark up oxygen. And so hydrogen peroxide became a minor first aid footnote, while an entire industry built itself on the assumption you would never look too closely at what that bottle could actually do. The Amish never accepted that reassignment, and here's what they kept doing instead. Use one is produce washing. Fresh vegetables carry bacteria, fungal spores, and on commercial produce, pesticide residues that plain water cannot fully remove. The Amish preparation is simple: 1 part 3% hydrogen peroxide to 3 parts cold water. Produce soaks for 3 to 5 minutes, then is rinsed thoroughly. The released oxygen oxidizes surface contaminants at a cellular level. Leafy greens stay fresh for days, past their normal deterioration point. The chemistry is straightforward and the result is measurable. Use 2 is mold treatment. Spray undiluted 3% peroxide directly onto any moldy surface and let it sit for 10 minutes. The bubbling you hear is oxygen being released as peroxide reacts with the enzyme catalase present in living organisms, including mold colonies. It is destroying the mold structurally, not coating it. When you scrub and rinse, you are removing something that has been broken apart at a cellular level. Hydrogen peroxide leaves behind only water and oxygen. No residue, no warning labels, nothing you would not want near your children. Use 3 is grout restoration. Mix peroxide and baking soda into a paste, apply along tile lines, wait 10 minutes, scrub, rinse. The peroxide oxidizes discoloration, while the baking soda provides mild alkaline abrasion. Grout that has looked gray for years responds in a way commercial whitening products rarely match, because you are cleaning the surface, not coating it. Use 4 applies the same paste to slow cookers and ceramic cookware, those brown carbonized rings that standard dish soap cannot fully penetrate. An hour of contact time breaks down the protein and fat residue that has been bonding to the ceramic surface through repeated heat cycles. But here is where it gets more serious for the home you already live in. Use 5 is cutting board sanitation. After raw meat preparation, spray 3% peroxide directly onto the board. It foams for 2 minutes as it reacts with organic residue, then disinfects the microcuts in the surface where bacteria hide. Research has confirmed peroxide's efficacy against E. coli, salmonella, and listeria at appropriate concentration and contact time. An Amish butcher refinement worth noting: after the peroxide step, a separate application of plain white vinegar, never mixed together, always applied in sequence, covers a different microbial spectrum. Virginia Tech researchers in the 1990s confirmed this 2-step method reduced pathogen counts on wooden surfaces by over 99%. The Amish had been doing it for decades before the study was published. Use 6 is laundry. A half cup of 3% peroxide added to a white load brightens fabric without the structural fiber damage that chlorine bleach causes over time. Bleach works through chemical destruction. Peroxide works through oxidation, lifting discoloration while leaving the fabric intact. Use 7 is rust stain removal from fabric. Saturate the stain with peroxide. Apply fresh lemon juice. Set in direct sunlight for 1 hour. UV light activates the combination of peroxide and citric acid, producing a reaction that oxidizes iron oxide and releases it from the fibers. This works on stains that have been set for years. Use 8 is refrigerator deep cleaning. Spray every interior surface with 3% peroxide. Let it sit 10 minutes, wipe down. You're not masking odors. You are eliminating the microbial source of them. Amish households run this as a monthly ritual, not a seasonal event, and the difference shows in food longevity. Use 9 solves one of the most common modern household frustrations, the mold that grows inside the rubber door gasket of front-loading washing machines. That gasket is why laundry sometimes smells musty despite coming out of a machine designed to clean things. Spray the gasket, work peroxide into the folds, treat the detergent drawer and drum, run an empty hot cycle. The source is addressed, not temporarily suppressed. Use 10 extends the same principle to the dishwasher. A cup of peroxide poured into the bottom before a normal empty cycle. Cleans spray arms, interior walls, and the filter housing where food residue accumulates silently over time. Use 11 is the toilet bowl. Half a cup of 3% peroxide left for 30 minutes before scrubbing addresses mineral staining and bacteria in ways that most commercial cleaners achieve only through significantly more aggressive chemistry. The Amish application in composting toilet systems, where synthetic cleaners are completely unsuitable, illustrates something important. Peroxide is compatible with biological systems in a way that bleach and quaternary ammonium compounds are not. It breaks down into water and oxygen. Nothing harmful is left behind. Use 12 as the toothbrush. A 10-minute weekly soak in 3% peroxide resets the bacterial accumulation on bristles between uses. Free, simple, and backed by the same antimicrobial chemistry that applies everywhere else. Use 13 covers, wound care with precision. The Amish use peroxide specifically for initial wound cleaning, flushing surface bacteria at the moment of injury, and not for extended treatment. Research has confirmed that repeated application to healing tissue can interfere with cellular repair. One application, initial contact only, then clean water and a bandage. This accuracy about appropriate use is something general public knowledge about peroxide has largely missed. Use 14 is seed preparation. A diluted soak, 1 teaspoon of 3% peroxide per cup of water, applied to seeds for several hours before planting, softens hard seed coats and kills surface fungal contamination that causes seedling rot. Amish gardeners have used this preparation across generations, and the agronomic science behind oxidative seed treatment is consistent with commercial seed processing research. Use 15 is animal husbandry. After cleaning a chicken coop, spray 3% peroxide on walls, roosting bars, and nesting boxes. It reduces the bacterial and fungal organisms that cause respiratory problems in backyard flocks, leaves no harmful residue, and requires no withdrawal period. The same periodic treatment applied to livestock water troughs prevents algae and bacterial slime buildup without any compound left behind that could harm animals. Now step back and see the full picture. You have just seen 15 applications of a compound that costs under $1 per bottle. You are replacing bathroom mold spray, produce wash, grout cleaner, cookware treatment, cutting board sanitizer, laundry brightener, stain remover, refrigerator cleaner, washing machine treatment, dishwasher cleaner, toilet bowl treatment, personal care products, wound care supplies, seed preparation, and livestock sanitation. The average American household spends hundreds of dollars annually across these categories. Over 10 years, the number quietly staggers most people when they stop to calculate it. Hydrogen peroxide is natural in the most literal chemical sense. It occurs in rainwater. It is present in raw honey, contributing to honey's remarkable resistance to bacterial spoilage. It is manufactured by the human immune system. White blood cells produce hydrogen peroxide as a frontline response to pathogens. When it breaks down, it returns water and oxygen to the environment. Not chlorinated byproducts, not synthetic surfactants, water and oxygen. The Amish did not arrive at these 15 uses through ideology. They arrived through observation, repetition, and generational knowledge. Sharing that happens when a community is invested in what actually works. That knowledge did not disappear when the cleaning industry arrived. It was just waiting for someone to look for it again. This is what Next Reveal exists to do. If this is the kind of knowledge you came here for, subscribe. Because the next layer goes deeper into the preservation methods, structural treatments, and fermented preparations that Amish households have used for generations. Without the products, modern marketing insists are necessary. You now know what the brown bottle can do. The question is not whether this works. The question is what you're going to do differently starting tonight.